Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in on our first social equity webinar. If you can hear me, can you put a 1 in the chat box so I can see? Again, hello, my name is Heather. I am on the social equity team here at Gage Cannabis. We are really excited to host our first webinar today and to demonstrate for you how to navigate our new social equity website, and as well of how to apply. So how to apply. A little background about Gage. Gage is an integrated cannabis company that is currently innovating and curating high quality cannabis experiences for cannabis consumers in the state of Michigan. By doing this, we cultivate craft cannabis and bring internationally renowned brands to the Michigan market. Through years of progressive industry experience, our founding partners have successfully built and grown operations with federal and state licenses, including cultivation, processing, retail locations. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to navigate the website, as well as how to submit your application to become a recipient of our grant. I'm just going to back up a little bit. When you first come, you can either access our website through our main website, gageusa.com. At the top, you'll see there's a social equity link. You can click that, or you can simply type in Gage SE, gageusa.com/SE. From then, you're going to scroll down, you'll see our mission, and then the most important part is the grant part. Be sure to read this part right here. It just lets you know, this little blurb lets you know what our program is. It consists of you receiving up to $50,000 in financial assistance, as well as public relations and marketing support. In order to qualify to be a recipient, you must be at least 21 years of age and a resident of Michigan. Now, first things first, I know we have the checklist, but we think it's in your best interest to scroll further down and to check out the FAQs, just so you can get a better understanding of what it is that we're looking for. What do you need to know in order to apply with us? So I'm just going to go over them with you. Again, how do you qualify? You have to be at least 21 years of age and a Michigan resident. And this is our most basic qualifications, because the way we're going to be reviewing applications is going to be on a case-by-case basis. So, putting emphasis on your story, who you are, what you're going to do with the funding in the event that you become a recipient, are things that matter to us. And we also are aware that not everybody necessarily fits the criteria of what the MRA, which is the Michigan Regulatory Agency, has set aside to become a social equity recipient in the state of Michigan. So we're kind of being open about this. We want to make sure that anyone and everybody, maybe if you weren't living in one of those particular municipalities, but yet you still have a story and you've been affected by marijuana prohibition policies, that you still have a chance to be a recipient of our social equity program. So how many times can you submit the form? You may only submit the form one time per endeavor. So if you have two businesses and you want funding for both of those, you're going to have to submit a form for that. You're going to have to submit a form for business A and for business B. And then once you do that, once you're going through the application process, and we'll get more into this a little bit later on, you have to make sure that your application is very thorough, because once you submit it, you cannot go back and make any changes. So it's very important that you do review our submission checklist criteria, so you can understand all the additional information that comes along with it. Can you apply to our program via email? No, you cannot. Please do not send us a pitch deck or anything along those lines to our email address. We will not be reviewing it that way. The only way that you can apply to our grant program is by completing and submitting your application through our online forum. Can you apply if you don't live in Michigan? At this time, our program is only accepting applications from Michigan residents. Obviously, because also this is where we currently are operating in the United States. Can you apply if you have any cannabis convictions or any non-cannabis convictions on your record? Yes, you can. We definitely would. We don't want to discriminate because you do have a cannabis conviction or you have something that's non-cannabis related, and you still want to apply. We definitely encourage it. Is there a deadline to submit your application? At this time, we do not have a deadline. Because we are still, we don't know how many, it really depends on the amount of submissions that we're going to be receiving and how long it's going to take for us to review. And especially because this is our first time around with this part of the program, we want to be sure that we can kind of map out how much time it would take for us to select our first recipient, our third recipient. And sometimes there may be a chance that we might select more than one recipient at a time, just depending on how great the applications are. How often are recipients selected? We are aiming to at least select one recipient quarterly, but that is, again, subject to change based on the amount of submissions we received. What type of files should we submit our business plan and other documents? Now, this part is very important because we want you to know that any Word documents will be automatically omitted. So if you have a Word document, you must submit it in PDF format. And why is that? Because there are so many different Word doc programs. So you've got Pages, you've got Microsoft Word, there's a variety of them. And all of the margins and the formatting gets kind of funky sometimes. So to avoid that, we're just asking that you submit through PDF. It's very important that you do read and go through the criteria checklist because any small mistake could also have you omitted from your application being reviewed or going to the next level. So attention to detail is very, very big. As I digress, like I said, all Word documents should be submitted in a PDF format. Any images should be in PNG or JPEG format, and any audio or video media should be in the MP4 format. There is a place in the application where you can put links. If you have any links to maybe like a YouTube channel, well, there's a place like that. But if you have any links to maybe any press or anything else that might help your application, there's a place, a designated text box for you to drop those links in. But we will go over that as we go through the application process. What is the attachment file for size? What is the attachment file size limit? Files cannot be above 256 megabytes. So please keep that in mind. How can I verify my application was submitted? You will be notified via email, via the email address provided in the application that your application has been submitted and it's in the process of being reviewed. And will you be notified if you are not selected? Yes, you will be notified if you are not selected. Additionally, we will do limited follow-ups for anyone who wants to know why they didn't qualify. And then after that, you can apply again. At this time, we are aiming to announce our next recipient. I think I mentioned this earlier, but we're aiming to announce our next recipient by the end of March of this year, which is March 2021. But again, that is still tentative. So now as we've gone over our FAQs, just so you know, this button here at the top will take you back to the home page, or you can press the back button. And we're going to scroll down and let's go through our grant checklist. So this is the second thing you want to be sure that you review before you go through your application. So right here we have our disclaimer. It's on the application page. It's on the grant list, the grant checklist page as well. This just pretty much lets you know what the, you know, all decisions, all the, sorry, my apologies. This pretty much lets you know what your rights are, what are we going to be doing with your information, how your information is going to be protected, and everything else. So please make sure that you take a moment to review this, because if you do, you do have to check off in the box when you're going to submit your application. You do have to check off that you did review this grant and you understand. If you have any questions, you can definitely send us an email and we can get back with you. We'll get back with you at our earliest convenience, for sure. So we're going to go back to the disclaimer, to the grant checklist. Now, right here is where you're going to see all of our questions that we have that is going to be listed on the application. We did it this way so people can just get an idea of what it is that they need to know, what the questions are, what kind of documents they need to get in order to submit the best application possible. And we're going to go through these questions later on, but again, please note at the bottom to read the FAQs before starting this application process. And we also recommend that you complete the application responses in a separate document, Word document, or whatever it is that you choose before applying, because in the event you're filling out the application online, something could go wrong and your work may not necessarily be saved, and you could lose all the work that you have done and all the time that you have spent trying to complete this application. So we definitely want you to be sure to take that route rather than trying to fill it out on the fly. Again, please ensure that your application is thorough and complete, because once it is submitted, you cannot make any additional changes. Also, be very mindful of grammar and spelling errors. If you can have somebody review it, perfect, you know, because if you are submitting a application to anything else, you definitely want it to be as great as possible. So we want you to take that type of mindset and apply that here when you're applying for the application. I mean, for the grant, you are receiving up to $50,000 in funding. So we want you to take this seriously, and we don't want to just hand this money out to anybody. We really want our funds to go towards a cause or a business that's really going to do something positive to impact the Michigan market and your local community. So, I mean, even that's a product, or if it's an organization on research, whatever the case may be, you know, we want you to take it seriously, and we want you to make sure that this is going to be effective and necessary and awesome for our cannabis community here in Michigan. Again, it says, you know, go make sure that when you uploading your files are in the correct format, and that all the applications that submitted are final. We do have this button right here, the download application button, where you can click and it'll take you to the application questions. So if you want to print them out, or if you want to like save them on your computer so you don't always have to go back to our website, you do have this option as well. Then I'm going to go back. I'll just go back to the home page. Oh, actually, we could just go to the apply here button. We can go back home, or we can go straight to the application here. You can also navigate the home page and find the application right here as well. So we're just going to go ahead and click that. Again, the disclaimer is at the top. And this is the entire application. Where there are stars, you have to be sure to input the text in those fields. I've already kind of gone through and completed the application in advance, so we don't waste any time. I'm going to go over here to this. So let's start this off. So obviously, name of your business, what's your name, your first and last name, what is your title? We want your phone number, a correct email. This email will be, it's very important that you put the right email in because this email is the same email address that we are going to use in order to contact you to let you know whether or not you have been selected to become a recipient for our program. Your website, your social media handles, as many as you can give us, that's great. We have the basic ones aligned here, but I know there's a ton of social media platforms that exist out here. So anything else, like, you can go ahead and put that name, include your platform name. So for example, Gage Cannabis, that is, the platform name. For that is a username for, and I know we have Instagram up here, but let's just say Tumblr. And it will be www./tumblr.com. Actually, it's not a / there, excuse me. /Gage Cannabis. So something like that. And it's okay when you're using these text box to kind of just press enter and stack on top of each other rather than doing commas, because when we receive your applications, it's much easier for us to be able to go through and review them without having to go through all the unnecessariness of trying to sort through the commas and put spaces and stuff in between. So it's much, we do prefer it that way. Also, when you are submitting your social media handles, you do want to submit the entire URL rather than just putting in the @ symbol and the username. Again, it makes it easier for us to just click the link and review rather than us having to copy and paste and put it in the browser, and then it just takes up more time. And we've already been receiving applications, so anything that's going to help us get through this a little bit faster is very much welcome, and we do value that. How many members are on your team? Right here again, so we have 6 members. Oop, there's a space. We have 6 members on your team. I don't know if you guys watch The Office, but we just pretty much took all the characters of The Office and gave them all roles, titles. So this is a great way to present this to us. The name, first name, last name, a hyphen, and then what their role is. Again, putting them on top of each other makes it easier rather than us having to do spaces and commas. And the better you format this, the better it is for us to review the application. I just want to drive that point home to everybody who was going to be applying for the program. So is your endeavor a for-profit or a nonprofit? Check that off. Have you ever been convicted of a marijuana-related offense? Check that off. I do want to let you know, again, just because you have been convicted of offense does not mean that you are ineligible to become a recipient of our grant program. So keep that in mind as you're submitting. Don't let that turn you off. It's going to be completely fine. How long have you been a resident where you currently live? Let us know. If it's 7 years and 3 months, sorry, I can't spell. 7 years and 3 months, be sure to let us know. Be as accurate as you can as possible, because we also are going to be doing a background check, and that is something that you have to submit to if you are going to become a recipient, because again, we are giving you $50,000. So if you're not who you say you are, that's going to be a huge issue for you. And you could have you really could have the best story, but if you are not honest on your application, that's going to harm you more than it is going to help you. So do you meet the qualifying criteria eligible to become a social equity recipient within the state of Michigan or within your current municipality? So for this one right here, we do understand that the requirements to become a social equity recipient in Michigan is sometimes not the same requirements as what the municipalities are given. For example, the Detroit Legacy Ordinance that just came out last year, to be a social equity recipient in Detroit is not the same qualifications as it is at the state level. So we're being mindful of that as well. We do want to know if you do meet those criteria if you qualify. You may not have necessarily submitted an application just yet or anything like that, but we want to know, like, if we were to look up the guide, you know, when we look up the guidelines between Michigan and Detroit, for example, if you fit along in there. And again, if you do not, that's okay too. We're not going to don't let that deter you from applying. We just want to know. This is something we just want to keep in mind. Where is your business based? It's based in Detroit. Well, right here we have Detroit, Michigan. Is it registered in Michigan? We can just put a hyphen and say, yes, my business is registered. I can't spell, but whatever, wasting time. Yes, my business is registered in Michigan. What is your revenue strategy / business model, and how do you earn money? Right here, we just want to know what it is. Basically, how do you earn money? Is it through sales? Is it through donations? How can you just let us know, how is it that your business is going to earn money? So then also right here, we just upload your business plan. Again, PDF only. I've already done this, but you know, I went to file, Gage business plan right here, open. You can see it was in PDF format. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it says PDF document. And as you can see, these photos right here are in PNG. But yeah, oops, no file chosen. So PDF right there. Okay. And then the next question, how does your project or your endeavor benefit the community? Again, so this goes into you letting us know, you bringing this organization, business to life. What does it do for the community? What does it do for the Michigan community? Does it do anything for your local community, national? We want to know what that is, again, because that is something that matters to us. Next question, describe your business in less than 200 characters. So small batch, I just put small batch, high expectations. Definitely don't copy what I did here and do it like this. Basically, we want some more, give us a little bit more in depth. Give us something a little bit more in depth about your business and 200 characters. Basically right here, it's kind of like a little elevator pitch. A one sentence, maybe one or two sentences, depending on how long it is. That's what we want to know. All right. And then the next thing, what is your value proposition? So basically, if you don't know what a value proposition is, it is like, do you help people save money? Do you help them save time? Is it the quality? You know, what is the best thing that your brand or what your business or organization is known for? For us is, you know, we provide quality product that can't be found anywhere else in Michigan. If you don't know already, we are the exclusive retailer for cookies, Grandiflora, Lemonade, and other brands here in Michigan. So you are only going to be able to find them at any of our retail locations. So that is a value proposition for us. And then right here, this is where we get into the nitty gritty of it. I'm actually going to copy this. This is in the wrong section. Is there a story to your business? So if you have a story, like, what's your story? You know, one of our recipients, our first recipient, Ryan Basur, he had a very, very interesting story. And I'm not going to tell the story because I would like for you to go find it out for yourself. But in a nutshell, you know, he went through a lot of things with the legal system. You know, he thought he was in compliance with things and everything just kind of like went bad. He ended up having to do some time, in so many words, but everything was unjust. And he had a very, very compelling story about it. And we saw that, we heard that, and we're like, okay, you know, let's help you get your endeavors off the ground, especially because you've been wronged by the system. And now to this day, his business is doing numbers. I mean, really, after launching last year, Redemption is doing really well in the markets, and we sell his products, flour, his carts. We've had collaborations with him and with the concentrates, and we're selling them all over in our stores all over the state. So, what is your business? I mean, so what is your story? And that's what we want to know. Like, why are you getting in this business? Why are you doing this business? If it's just for the money, save it. Just then close out your whole application because we don't want it. We want to know really why you're in this, what you want to do, and the impact you want to leave behind. And I guess it kind of correlates, it does correlate with, how you're going to benefit the community, what you're doing, how's it going to benefit the community at large. Next question, if you were a recipient of this grant, how would you use the funds that have been allocated to you? We want to know, what would you do with this money once you received it? Let us know, and give us as much detail as possible. I think that definitely helps, especially with also with the story as well. Do be mindful that you only have 750 words, and I think that's about like maybe a page and a half if you're in a Word document. Honestly though, but the less the better because we do have many applications to review. But again, we still want you to know, even if you have to use up all the 150 words, that's totally fine. But again, concise, straight to the point, saying as much without saying too much, without writing too much. That's a big thing for us. But again, do your best. Tell your story to us. We still want to know, even if you do spend up the whole 750 words, that's totally fine. And then going down here, upload your files. So if you have any additional files about your business, any spreadsheets that you'd like to show us, any documents, press coverage, like financial forecasts, any business presentation decks, any like flyers of an event maybe you've done. So for example, I'm just gonna use this one. We did a wellness event back in August called the Vibe Out, and I'm just gonna upload it there. And this does tell you how many megabytes it is too. If you want to delete it, you can also press this little X right there and it'll delete it for you as well. You can drag and drop the files, or you can just, again, select and it will it'll open your Finder or your documents or whatever folder you had open recently. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the text box, the designated text box for you to drop any additional links of information, any links for any additional information you may have. Maybe you had a file that probably was too big for you to upload. If you have a link to it, perfect. Send it our way. If it's a Google Doc, I do want to specify, like if it's a Google Doc, again, maybe save it, make it so where it's in PDF formats, and then send us that link too. So it's not open, we're not opening it up and it's all like funky and we have to ask for permission to be in there. Just make it a view only PDF type, and we should be good from that. So right here, now we get towards the end of our application. By checking this box, you're agreeing that all information presented is accurate to the best of your ability, and we have permission to conduct a background check. Yes, you are going to click that. And then you're also going to click that I have read and agreed to the terms of this disclaimer. If you have done that, you are going to click that as well. Now, we do also have this one thing. Now, I understand that we do fill things out too. In these boxes, but again, this is not 100% fail proof. So we do recommend you putting your application in on a separate, we do recommend that you first complete your application on a separate document. But in the event you start filling them in, you can come down here, click save and continue later, and it's going to take you to this page. And this page here, you can either copy the link, or you can write in your email address and it will send you the form so you can come the link, so you can, it'll send you the link so you can come back and continue to edit later. But again, we do stress that it's better, it's in your best interest for you to complete it on a separate document before inputting all of your answers. I also want you to note that this link was expired in 30 days. And if you lose the link, that we cannot recover it for you. So please do not reach out to us saying that, hey, I lost my link, I put a lot of work in and I can't access it, I can't find it. And we're just gonna be like, oh, I'm so sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. Because again, we do say, put it on a separate document, and the links actually do expire. So just be mindful of that. Your best bet is to put an email address in if you can, or just, like I said, fill it out on a separate sheet. I'm gonna go back to the application. And when I went back, it was actually still there too. So we tried to make it as easy as possible for you. So go ahead and confirm you are not a robot. Verify, click submit. Oh, you know what? Guess what? There's a place I didn't fill out. Bam. So if you don't fill out, if you do not fill out portions where there's a star, asterisk, you cannot submit your application. So I'm going to go ahead and write something to uplift the community. I can't spell, like you know. Yes. Something. Then I'm going to go ahead and submit it again. I'm not a big fan of these things, but we have to do them to avoid spam. And I submit, and then bam, and it's all done. So I will be receiving an email confirming that the application has been submitted and is in the process of being reviewed. So back to our home page. You can also check out places in the media where we've been picked up for our social equity efforts. And now I'm going to open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, please type them in the box, in the chat box. There's also a Q&A box as well, but chat's fine as well. And I'm gonna go on mute for a second as I wait for them to come in. Okay, so we have a question from Matt. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you who it is. What impresses you the most about the applications you have gotten? The one thing again, like I've mentioned earlier, the one thing that impresses us the most is just really about the story of, you know, why you're in this industry and what it is that you're trying to contribute to the cannabis industry and to your community as a whole. Like those are the things that we really do care about. We don't want just anybody in here just trying to get in here and just make money, because there's so many people that are out here just trying to do that. And we understand that, like, you know, it's a very lucrative business though. But if we're going to give you this money, what is it that you're going to do with it and how you're going to benefit people? You know, we want to put that good, in so many ways, we want to put that good energy out there and help help change the negative narrative that surrounds the plant. And if you can help us do that, I mean, you're contributing to the advancement of the industry in that way. Those are things that we really care about. So thank you for that. Will you give me some examples of what you are looking for in the describe your business question? Okay, so describing your business. Is it a nonprofit? For example, I'm just going to use our two recipients that we currently have. So we have the Kairos Foundation, which is a foundation, which is a nonprofit foundation that is geared towards raising awareness around cannabis in athletics. So Mr. Diab Shoemake founded this because, you know, he's an athlete and he used cannabis to help him with, you know, coping with some mental issues he was having at that time. And he also just knew how, you know, how cannabis and running really helped him a lot, and that there was not enough there wasn't enough information out there or research surrounding how cannabis had been so beneficial for athletics and healing and for mental health. So he connected with the University of Michigan and created this partnership. And now, you know, every time they hold any different endeavors, every time they host any events or anything along the lines to raise funds, that's going towards cannabis research. So we want to know, what is it that your business is going to do? That gives it, if that kind of helps. Yeah, we want to know what it is that what your business is going to do. So is it going to be the nonprofit? Is it going to be helping funding research towards cannabis? Ryan has a redemption from our other first recipient is Brian Basor. He has the Redemption Foundation. He makes products. He has flour. He goes flour. He has cards, pretty much everything. But his business is also really geared towards, you know, returning citizens and creating pathways of success for people who are in prison for cannabis and or people who are coming back, returning to life again after have serving time. So that's pretty much kind of like what it is. So the breakdown of his business is like he's selling these products, and you know, with these products, sometimes some proceeds that goes hand in hand with his foundation, and his foundation is to help people who have been wronged by the justice system for cannabis. So I hope that kind of helps you when it comes to describing the business. Just really telling us what it is, what your business is, what you're going to do. If it's products, if it's a research, give us, you know, let us know. Is there a limit to how many documents you can upload at this time? No. I don't think the way we built this website, I don't think there's a limit to it. But if you do come into that problem, definitely email us, but also just take advantage of the links section, the section where you can just put the links in. Can you tell us what you expect a 501c3 organization to submit for the business plan? Ooh, good question. I'm going to have to get back with you on that one for sure. I know we want to definitely, the business model is a big deal for us for sure, but I know there's different specifics that gets into the criteria of there's different specifics for a 501c3 versus the actual business, but for sure we want to know that business model and the business plan, and for sure what you're going to do with those funds and how you're going to earn those funds. But that is something that I know that our leadership team went over with Diop. I was not in on that process at the time. I was really busy building out the program, but that is something I'm going to look into, and we'll put that up on our FAQ section as well to let people know. But thank you so much. That was a really, really good question. And there might be things that are different. That's something for us to consider, like, you know, what the difference would be for us for someone who's applying with a nonprofit versus a actual a for-profit business. All right. Yeah, the business plan for a nonprofit. Do we have any more? Let me scroll up to the top, see if I probably missed anything at the top. Okay. So what are some examples of how Gage helps its recipients? So what we do, once you become a recipient of our program, we're going to, you get the $50,000. Sometimes you don't get it all that, we don't give it to you all at once. We're going to work with you to figure out, just, be mindful of how we're allocating these funds and what the funds are going towards. Again, because we don't want to just be funding just any old thing. We want to break that down with you and figure out exactly how the money is going to be used. But we also help you with public relations. So for example, Diop, Kairos, and Runners High, we're actually going to be meeting, we're helping him. Well, he's planning the first panel of the year in February. We're solidifying the dates. I'm not going to put it out there yet, but we're planning our first event in February. And so Diop and I have met to put together the public relations strategy, who's going to be on this panel, what we're going to be talking about. And then from that, we're going to collaborate with our PR partners and pitch it out to the local media. Marketing as well, if you need to make any graphics, or any visuals, anything like along those lines, videos, you can collaborate with our marketing team as well to create those types of things. But yeah, good question. And in addition to that, we also our program is going to also help provide resources for the different communities. So for example, say if you're not a recipient, but because we're only limited to the amount of grants that we're giving out, but that doesn't mean that we're limiting the amount of help that we're facilitating. So throughout this year, we're going to be facilitating different workshops and events to help people maybe either write a business plan, teach you how to lobby if you're living in a municipality where there aren't any where they haven't opted in for marijuana sales, how to lobby for that. We'll get some experts on there and teach you that, or explain how that goes. So we're still going to be providing resources and connecting with the community to see exactly what else it is that they need. Would Gage consider using your gift as a challenge gift? I'm not sure what that means. Are the funds restricted? Can you elaborate on that for me? What do you mean they're restricted? I mean, we aren't necessarily, depending on how, this is definitely something that once you become a recipient, you're going to sit down, you're going to talk with our leaders about the program, about what it is that you're going to be doing. Would Gage consider you using your gift as a challenge gift? Is a way to help fundraise. So if you need money to get funds, so if you need money to just fund your endeavor, is that what you're asking? Does Gage just give you money to fund, like if you're trying to get a license or something? Is that what or if you're trying to raise funds for your business? Is that what you're asking? Because if so, that's pretty much how we did with Ryan. But again, you will have to sit and talk with leadership about that, about how the funds are going to be used and get into the nitty gritty of that. I'm not necessarily in on those at this time. I'm not in on those conversations. So I can't necessarily answer that accurately for you. But if you can send me an email, I don't know if you've applied already, but if you can follow up with me, I can definitely get a clearer answer for you. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Um, yes, and also another thing I do want to mention is the fact that we are planning to be in these communities where that have been disproportionately affected, especially the communities where we do have facilities. So I definitely would like to connect with all the community leaders, or, know about what you got going on in your community, and how we can come out there and create impact and maybe host workshops or collaborate together, because it's really about community and, you know, reversing the harm that has been done by marijuana prohibition policies. That's really what we care about. This is why we have this social equity program. So if we can connect, please send me an email. I'm going to type it in here. Please, yes, USA.com. Please send me an email, and let's see what we could do, and how we could collaborate, maybe some workshops, because we do want to be more involved in the community. I mean, we already have our staff members, going out and volunteering, but we want to get a little bit more deeper into that and create real change, especially because we are a corporate company and we have the ability to do that. We need social equity programs in New Jersey. Yeah, I don't know. You guys just became legal, and the way they wrote that policy, they tried to leave social equity out. So I can't help you on that one, but you might want to connect with Mary Pryor or Leo Bridgewater on that, as far as lobbying to create change in that sense. Also, Nadir Pearson, Can Inclusive, all of those, and Ross. Yes, definitely Ross. Can't forget Ross. um, we were working with the state of Michigan, did the same. Okay. Yeah, so I have about 11 minutes left. Do I have any more questions? Anybody else? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, I don't think I have any more questions, but yes, please feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. Also, I just want to let you know that you can go to our website. We do have this box. So our contact box, boom. You can come out here and fill this out, and then there is the social equity. You can select that and it'll come straight to my social equity email. Um, but thank you for everybody who has attended this. You now personally have my social equity email address. So if you can email me, that would be great. Can non-recipients ask for social program help? So the way we're going to help people who are not recipients is by, hosting the workshops. I mean, you can let us know what you're looking for. That can give us inspiration on what type of workshops we should facilitate, or informational webinars that we can host as well. Or God forbid, COVID is still around, as long as it is, maybe hosting some events, maybe socially distant events as well. So just, let us know. But yeah, we're just trying to help as many people as we can. Our primary focus definitely is going to be on our recipients and just making sure that they have a great experience with our social equity program, and that they're making a difference in the cannabis community. But we are still going to be out here helping those who are not recipients of our grant program. So no one goes unloved or unhelped to the best of our ability. All right, guys. Well, it's 1:51. If I don't have any more questions, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. with me, to be here with Gage. We're really looking forward to making this program a success. Please be sure to check out Ryan Basor, the Redemption Foundation, see the success that has happened with him. And then also Kairos, I'm gonna just bring Kairos up since we're here. I don't even know why it's not showing up. Bam. Yep, raising funds and awareness through cannabis research and athletics. Be sure to check out Kairos. Follow them on Instagram. Okay, I don't know what happened, but follow them on Instagram and on social media, or just sign up on their website to see what to learn about the information, the programs that they're going to be having this year, and continue to follow up with us. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, like us on Facebook, and follow us on LinkedIn as well. But thank you so much again for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day. I am going to sign out of here, and be sure to send me an email if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.